This program contains scenes that have been dramatized, with special attention given to historical accuracy.
He's not your average gambler.
You would never guess that this guy masterminded an operation like this.
Because he doesn't care if he wins.
We were amazed. It was the first time we had come across this type of an operation.
Cashing out police.
The potential of his operation could have been astronomical.
He had never gambled before, but soon after Louis Colavecchio played his first slot, casino gambling was going to take it on the chin.
I don't think there's a machine today that I couldn't fool.
This is the story of Louis Colavecchio, a master counterfeiter who tricked casinos all over America into handing over a fortune. Because win or lose, Colavecchio always cashes out. Imagine this, that you could walk into a casino anytime and make a personal withdrawal. That you could do it right under the noses of the casino bosses.
So you want to bet the max?
Too late. I already won.
Surveillance.
Only one more, and then we'll go.
Surveillance here.
I've got male, female suspects, north slots, aisle 1. Male, late 40s, silver suit, glasses pushed up. Female, late 30s, black jacket, dark colored hair.
It's sky high, no limits, a masterful angle.
Cashing out, please.
Sure.
The casino just gives you the money.
$1,520.
With a smile every time.
North slots.
Looking at me.
No. Where I am.
The ultimate takedown. But beware. There's always a chance that it is you who will be taken down. Providence, Rhode Island, 1993. In the north part of town, the Italian enclave is alive and well. Here, family matters. Trades pass from father to son. Old customs and old understandings still serve to keep the neighborhood peaceful. But all is not truly well in North Providence. Louis Colavecchio, master craftsman and jewelry designer, is depressed.
I always made handmade jewelry. And everything was one of a kind. If it was a hard job, Louis got it.
After 27 years of hard work, Colavecchio retires at the age of 51.
When I did that, I felt like I had nowhere to go. Nobody cared for me. Nobody loved me anymore. Nobody needed me, and I felt kind of deserted.
Colavecchio broods and becomes despondent. His friends begin to worry. Finally, in September 1993, one of them comes up with a plan to cheer Louis up. A road trip to New England's brand new gambling mecca, Foxwoods Casino, in next-door Connecticut.
So it's just a casino, and mostly table games. And I said, boy, what a mistake this is, what a boring afternoon this is gonna be.
Louis, what are you doing?
Wow, just watch it.
Don't you want to play a game of your own?
I don't know the rules to these games.
Here, try the slots. They're idiot-proof.
What are these?
What, have you been living under a rock? They're slot machine tokens.
So I played the slot machine, and there was no thrill.
But a few coins into his play, the game suddenly gets more interesting. Or if not the game, the token. A Foxwoods token worth $10.
Coin is a piece of jewelry, literally. Only it's a functional piece of jewelry, and that set it apart from anything else that I'd ever done.
He saw the coin, and he said he held it and he liked the heft, and he liked the weight, and he liked the design.
As a jewelry maker, Louis's job is to copy things. Aimless and adrift, he suddenly sees a challenge to his skill so overwhelming, it blocks out all other considerations.
When I saw that coin said, "Lou, come over here. Where are you going? I got something for you to do. Make me."
Despite having never committed a crime, Colavecchio can't resist an alluring idea. What if he used his skills to create a counterfeit casino token? If he could make enough and make them accurately, he could cash them in and walk away with millions.
One thing I learned from my father, everything mechanical is man-made. And if it's man-made, it can be copied. Exactly. Just give me the right tools.
But copying a casino token is no simple task. Slot machine tokens are minted with the same fastidious care the U.S. Mint uses for real money. The counterfeiting of money is one of history's oldest crimes. But since the elimination of the $10 and $20 gold coins in the early 1930s, there have been no coins worth the attention of counterfeiters. In the 1940s and 50s, a popular coin for slot machines is the silver dollar. But in 1964, the U.S. Treasury officially discontinues the circulation of silver dollars, which changes everything.
Many machines in areas for gambling had been designed to make use of silver dollars, and so there was a need for a substitute piece to simply operate machines designed for that denomination.
After consulting with the U.S. Mint, the Nevada Gaming Commission permits casinos to mint their own private dollar coins, known as tokens. By 1979, casinos in Nevada and Atlantic City are minting millions of tokens in many denominations. In 1993, by the time Louis Colavecchio sees his first $10 token and vows to copy it, the casinos have become experts in counterfeit prevention.
Foxwoods was, at that time, one of the most modern casinos in the country, so that it had probably the most sophisticated anti-counterfeiting devices existed there. Their tokens were tough.
There are so many steps involved that it becomes prohibitive for counterfeiters to think about making coins.
No one was known to have successfully counterfeited a casino token when Louis met up with the Foxwoods $10 piece. The token that Colavecchio wants to copy is designed to thwart him in a number of ways. Forging a convincing counterfeit is a crime that's going to take every scrap of his talent and a whole lot of work as well. Because Colavecchio wasn't about to take the easy path, just taking his forged tokens to the cashier.
Casinos are very picky about one thing. They see you come in the front door, they want to see you play. They expect you to spend some money. So, I'll spend a little money on them. Just a little. And then they'll spend a whole lot on me.
Louis knows he has to make tokens that actually work in the slots, as well as pass muster when he cashes out. In 1986, slot machines begin including a device called a comparator. In less than a second, the comparator uses lasers and electric current to precisely evaluate the dimensions, the design, and the composition of a coin.
And as the coin falls through, it looks at 5,000 different points of reference.
The edge has to be treated in certain ways. The rims are of a certain shape and angle. The surfaces are either flat or very slightly convex, or they have features on them which will reflect light in various different ways.
Thanks to that kind of electronic accuracy, casino tokens often carry what's called a smart mark.
A smart mark is a security feature on the token, and it accomplishes the same purpose as a watermark on a bill.
A series of angled grooves into the token, which when passing through the coin acceptor will give off reflections in a specific pattern to be identified by the coin acceptor.
How will Colavecchio deal with the acceptor and other devices designed to screen out anything other than a correct token? Louis knows the answer. He has to make a copy so perfect, no machine or person will ever be able to tell the difference. To make serious forgeries, you'll need to make professional quality dies and use an industrial press. A very costly business. Is he ready to turn a crazy idea into a serious criminal enterprise?
I'm relentless. If you can say anything about me, I never quit. I'm tenacious. But if I got something, a goal in mind, there's nothing that's going to stop me from achieving that goal. And that coin was not going to stop me.
Reaching deep into his retirement savings, Colavecchio buys an automated industrial press. The price tag, $35,000.
I had the latest press that you could buy. It was a 320-ton hydraulic press.
But that won't be enough. The real money in counterfeiting is in the plate that actually strikes the metal into a coin. It's called the die.
The dies, it's actually the heart of the counterfeiter's operation. The die makes the impression for the token to be manufactured, which is critical. Without that, you don't have an operation.
The only way Colavecchio can make a perfect die is to copy it off the real token. And the only machine that can do that is an industrial monster known as an EDM. It's another big money expenditure for Colavecchio, and he hasn't yet made a single successful forged token.
So, are you ready?
Ready?
On top of that, the project is taking so much of his time that he can no longer keep it a secret from his girlfriend, Julie.
Julie worked in a bank. She was a programmer for many years.
We lived together. It's pretty hard to live with somebody and be running something like this.
Ta-da! Isn't it something?
It sure is. What kind of something?
It's an EDM.
Louis, what's an EDM?
An electrical discharge machine.
It's welding in reverse. Welding, you're adding metal. With an EDM, you're removing metal.
An electric wand fitted right here can burn a mold for any metal shape that you tell it to. Like this, for instance.
What are you up to, Louis?
Baby, you may think this machine's expensive, but when I get it up and running, this little baby here is gonna make us a lot of money.
Yeah, how much money?
Millions. So now what do you think?
I think you better plug it in.
Using tokens taken from Foxwoods, the electrical discharge machine successfully engraves a perfect reverse of the token. And Colavecchio makes a cylindrical die for each side.
Well, I think he took the time to make as close to a perfect counterfeit as he could have.
On February 6th, 1994, Louis Colavecchio presses his first counterfeit token, a Foxwoods $10 coin.
I'm perfect. I'm 1 inch 578 thousandths. I'm exactly right in all the dimensions. Everything looks proper.
Within an hour, he's on the highway with his newly forged token, headed directly to Foxwoods.
Sometimes I don't know how I drove there because my excitement to try my coins was so overwhelming.
Louis Colavecchio has spent $50,000 to forge a $10 token. Now, he's going to find out if it works. February 7th, 1994. It has taken Louis Colavecchio 6 months and $50,000 to forge a single $10 token for a slot machine at the Foxwoods Casino. As far as he can tell, the forgery is perfect.
He was kind of a perfectionist, and the coin itself that he had manufactured had all of the qualities of an original casino coin.
He had everything. He had the design, he had the weight, and he had all of the necessary dimensions of the coin. He said he was so excited, he was beside himself, and he thought, this is going to work, and I'm going to make millions of bucks.
But he still has to test it to see if all his hard work and his life savings have been wasted.
The machine rejected it so quickly that it was like heartbreaking. He says, oh, come on. I know I'm on the money with this, you know. It drops it just as if you put a stone in there.
Maybe it's a fluke, a one-time malfunction by the slot machine.
Is there a problem here, sir?
No. Everything's fine.
Okay, thank you.
After about 2 or 3 times, I says, I think it's time to get out of here and go rethink this program because this isn't going to work, and I'm calling a lot of attention to myself.
But Colavecchio has to make a decision. Give up and cut his losses, or keep digging into his pockets to figure out what he did wrong and correct it.
Did Thomas Edison give up on the light bulb because he couldn't make it burn longer than 3 seconds? Never. He kept on and on for years until he found out the answer. Years.
I knew I had to think outside the box. I had to come up with something else.
I don't understand it. It should have worked.
Did you play it right?
How could I play it wrong? I put it in a slot.
Well, maybe there's a flaw.
There's no damn flaw. It was a perfect replica. You could go over my token with a microscope and still not find any difference from the real one. Hell, I did go over it with a microscope. No difference at all.
Louis.
I heard it.
A counterfeit token, if it's not the same metal, it's slightly different. It creates a different sound when it hits the tray.
He says, oh, don't be too fussy with the mechanical aspects of the coin, physical aspects of the coin.
You know, I think I've been looking at this thing the wrong way.
The machine is looking for something else.
It's simple metallurgy. If they sound different, the tokens must be made of different metals. If Colavecchio wants to press on with his plan, he'll have to find out precisely what alloy the authentic Foxwoods token is made of. Metallurgy labs all over the country will analyze metal for a price. But Colavecchio can't just send them a token and ask what it's made of. He may as well wear a button that says, "Kiss me, I'm a counterfeiter."
Coming up with the exact chemical alloy of the metal is a real challenge for someone who's going to try to make a forgery.
Colavecchio decides to send the token to a lab after all.
We defaced it and made a square out of it. We made a pendant with a little solid top on it.
Disguised as an innocent piece of jewelry, the token is quickly analyzed by a metallurgy lab. The coin is made from an unusual alloy known as HS2, a blend of copper and zinc plus 6% nickel silver.
It's a protected metal, and the only reason why it's protected is because there's British coins made out of this type of metal. It's extremely difficult, not impossible, to get a hold of.
The closest that I could get to that was being used by a company that makes knives and forks.
It wasn't an exact duplicate for the HS2 alloy. It was very close. It could get by, but it wasn't the exact same metal.
Copper and zinc with 7% nickel silver instead of 6%. Close enough, Colavecchio hopes, to fool the machine. It's time to go back to Foxwoods.
And the car seemed like it went there automatically. I don't think I won anything, you know, but I did win. I won a victory. I had conquered what this machine wants.
This is Colavecchio's moment of truth. He's invested his life savings over $100,000 and is about to embark on a new start or a pathetic finish. In 1994, Louis Colavecchio has done it at last. He's mastered the first step in a scheme to take millions from the casinos, forging a slot machine token so close to the original that the electronic detectors in the slots can't tell the difference. He's proven he has the skills. Now, he needs a strategy to beat the casinos on a giant scale. Everyone on the casino floor is being watched. A person cashing out tokens without first playing will draw attention. Attention Colavecchio doesn't want. Louis knows he couldn't just take his forged tokens to the cashier. He had to play with them first, long enough so as not to draw attention from above. The tokens must be equally acceptable to both the slots as well as the cashiers.
It was better if you walked around, you played a little bit, you cashed out when there was other people cashing out.
Even so, it will still be dangerous to spend too much time playing the slots of a single casino.
I figured that rather than hit a casino for $2 or $3 million, it would be much smarter to hit 30 casinos for $100,000 each.
He wanted to spread himself out that way, so he wouldn't be easily detected.
You're going to make the same amount of money, and nobody's going to miss 30 or 100 or 150,000.
Colavecchio is going to need more casinos, and the closest place to find them is 5 hours south of Providence, in Atlantic City, New Jersey. That means instead of one token, he's got to forge accurate copies of dozens of different designs. 3 denominations, $10, $25, and $100. For each of Atlantic City's 12 casinos. It's not only a huge technical challenge, it's a tremendous amount of work.
Starting the whole project, I was doing everything myself. It came to the point where I needed help because I wanted to make many coins.
These are huge processes involving great amounts of weight, great amounts of metal.
It will have to be someone who won't compromise Colavecchio's elaborate scheme. Someone he can trust.
So, where do I come in?
Well, I'm going to be processing a lot of metal.
Yeah, you said, but you didn't say what for.
Al is a retired tool and die maker who lives nearby.
He was the machinist. He'd been doing it his whole life, legitimately. And again, him like Colavecchio, for what we understand, was one of the best in the business.
He had a full machine shop in his basement.
Look, I don't have the time to punch all of the metal, and I sure as hell don't have room to store it. So if I can keep the metal here, and you can cut the raw slugs for me, I'll make it worth your while.
I want a piece.
Of what?
I know you're up to no good. I've been around, you know. If I help you, I want a piece of the action, a percentage.
Done.
His machine shop was the first stop along the way. This is where the stock metal would be dropped off and then cut, and then the stripped pieces of metal would then be pushed through the punch press. Once the punch press made the actual token blank, then they would be picked up and then sent off to Louis Colavecchio's place.
At his own shop, Colavecchio runs the slugs.
Maybe 10 seconds or 20 seconds, you're squeezing the coin and tossing it, boom, 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 boom. So I'd put on an album, Charles Aznavour, and I'd put on Donna Summers, Frank Sinatra, maybe a little glass of wine on top of the press, and do my squeezing at night.
For his first assault on Atlantic City, Colavecchio was planning to pass $50,000 in phony tokens. To serve as his decoy, He asks his girlfriend Julie to come along.
He brought her in just because they were a couple. He trusted her.
If I had a choice of several wise guys or her, I'd pick her because she could keep her mouth shut.
Because she was a decent person that got wrapped up into this criminal activity.
I would load them in the order of the casinos that I intended to go to. So that box would probably mark B-100, meaning Bally's 100. Every casino would have a code.
After 18 months of research and endless tests, Colavecchio and Julie head to Atlantic City. Their car loaded with counterfeit tokens. Louis has pulled $100,000 out of his nest egg. He's incriminated his girlfriend as an accomplice. And he still hasn't made any money. Now, Louis Colavecchio is embarking on the most dangerous phase, working his counterfeit slot scheme right under the watchful eye of a security apparatus designed to shut down casino cheats in the blink of an eye. It's summer 1996. Movie audiences are thronging to Independence Day. Scientists clone a sheep named Dolly. The Unabomber is unmasked and arrested. And in Atlantic City, now the center of gambling on the East Coast, counterfeiter Louis Colavecchio is about to begin his assault on the casinos. For 2 years, Colavecchio has been designing, perfecting, and manufacturing counterfeit slot machine tokens. Now, in a single weekend, he and his girlfriend Julie are going to try and cash in $50,000 worth at casinos all over town. It's the moment of truth. Casino cashiers are trained to spot counterfeits.
Cash in now, please.
2 years of painstaking preparation are about to deliver a small fortune or land Colavecchio and his sweetheart in jail.
Sir? Sir?
Huh? What? What's wrong?
That's $1,850. Would you like that in hundreds?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great.
By the end of the first night, Louis and Julie have robbed Atlantic City's gaming houses of $25,000. By the second night, they have successfully passed all $50,000 in tokens.
$1,520.
No one has noticed a thing.
What was it Willie Sutton said when they asked him why he robbed banks? Because that's where the money is. Well, let me tell you something, Willie. There's more places than banks where the money is.
Over the next 3 months, Louis Colavecchio goes on a counterfeiting rampage. After Atlantic City, he heads west to Las Vegas and Reno. There, he collects sample tokens from as many casinos as he can visit and brings them home to copy. Once he's examined the tokens, it's only a matter of time before he and Al can mass-produce near-perfect fakes.
That marriage probably made one of the most successful counterfeiting operations in the history of gaming.
This was a very organized operation. It wasn't the fly-by-night type of setup.
I punched out $12,000 an hour.
Cash in out, please.
It's really, quite honestly, unlimited. Absolutely unlimited.
As the tokens come out of the press, Colavecchio and Julie crisscross the country, from Atlantic City to Las Vegas and home again, cashing in tokens for tens of thousands of dollars.
He will not stay in a casino too long. He's trying to avoid detection. So in order to do that, I think hit the constant movement.
It seems like nothing can stop Louis Colavecchio from stealing tens of millions from the casinos. Unless it's too much of a good thing. Casinos periodically count their tokens, to see how many they've lost or have become damaged. An employee at Caesar's Palace in Atlantic City notices something strange. She puts a call into a tenacious New Jersey State Police detective attached to the Casino Gaming Bureau.
Caesar's was approximately $24,000 over inventory in just the $10 tokens, which is a substantial amount.
It's not right. What do you mean? There's no way that this is legit. I just don't believe it. Hold on, you think? This is a fake. It's a phony. How do you know? I don't know, I just know.
Even though I thought they were counterfeit, I wasn't positively sure, because I'd never seen a token this close to quality before.
Tell you what, let's send to the manufacturer. Let them look at them.
Even though his suspicions haven't been confirmed, Detective Flaumer puts the word out to Atlantic City's casinos that a sophisticated counterfeit ring may be loose in town.
We had all the casinos check their $10 inventory. And a couple of casinos did come back that said they were over inventory, but they're not convinced they're being counterfeited.
But that was not the biggest shock awaiting Jim Flaumer.
What's this?
It's a report on your phony tokens. The lab at the Mint did a full workup on them.
And?
They're legit. They're the real deal.
No way.
The reaction in the industry was that these aren't forgeries. They can't be. These are just like the real thing. And they were.
Colavecchio has the casino's own mint running around in circles. In the meantime, he and Julie are running around the country, cashing in. Instead of driving a car full of tokens thousands of miles, Colavecchio now ships tokens to himself, wherever he plans to hit a casino.
Talk about a paid vacation. Julie and I crossing the country like two crazy tourists. First we'll hit Vegas and Reno, then take trips all over the country. You know what I want to do? I want to hang out with the Hopi Indians. Now how wild would that be?
In Atlantic City, Detective Flaumer refuses to give up. Flaumer convinces the manufacturer of the Caesar's Palace tokens to take a closer look at the suspect coins.
They found that the locking mechanism that holds the outer ring to the inner ring was actually different from their manufacturing process.
After months of uncertainty, Flaumer has his proof at last. The tokens are counterfeits, brilliant forgeries.
Shortly after that, Bally's Park Place notifies us of their way over inventory, around the same amount, $24,000, $10 tokens again.
These discoveries give Flaumer cause for a citywide investigation. He asks the casinos to intensify the video surveillance of their slot machines. It's early evening and cameras at Bally's Atlantic City catch an unusual sight. A man playing with $10 tokens loses 3 coins to a malfunctioning machine and doesn't notify a casino staffer.
You see what's happening here? What? This guy has $30 jammed in his slot machine. He just walked away. A legit gambler always complains about a jam. Always.
He had the option of calling a slot attendant over to fix the machine or to rectify the matter. He opted to walk away. And in addition to that, the slot machine was opened up after he had left, and they found 200 suspected counterfeit $10 tokens on the top of the hopper.
At last, Jim Flaumer has a face to connect with the counterfeit tokens. He has no way of knowing, but the man who walked away from Bally's slot machine is the counterfeiter himself, Louis Colavecchio. And now, in the fall of 1996, Flaumer is closing in on him. Counterfeiter Louis Colavecchio is fleecing casinos across the country. In Atlantic City, the police have his image on tape. But they don't have a name and no way of finding one. And it's been over 24 hours since the suspect walked away from the $10 tokens he lost to a malfunctioning slot.
We don't know at this point whether he's just a grunt or he's the mastermind. A lot of times the counterfeiter does not get involved in utilizing the counterfeits. He stays on the outside.
Flaumer hopes the suspect is still in Atlantic City. If he reappears, gaming enforcement will try to follow him on the chance he'll lead them to the source of the counterfeit tokens.
Our biggest objective in any counterfeiting case is to find the dies. The dies are pretty much the golden fleece of any counterfeiting operation, because with these dies, you can start up an operation any place, anytime.
Caesar's Casino. It's now 48 hours since Colavecchio was caught on tape, but he hasn't been seen since. Facing a dead end, Flaumer walks across the street to Caesar's.
I knew that was definitely another casino that they might be hidden.
So what do you want to do tonight, huh?
I don't know. Oh!
Why don't we catch a show tonight? The summer's in town.
Lou, we're going to Cape May tomorrow. Did you forget? It's an early start.
Cape May?
Yeah. Did you forget? Come on.
Flaumer is in the right place at the right time.
And what are we doing here?
As soon as I walked into the slot area, I saw him two playing the $10 machines.
All right.
Right away, recognized immediately.
Flaumer needs to reach Caesar surveillance to get the suspect on video and coordinate a pursuit.
Within a casino, communication's difficult for us. Radios don't work, cell phones don't work. So I had to find a house phone.
Surveillance.
Let me one more, and then we'll go.
Surveillance here.
This is Detective Sergeant Jim Farmer, New Jersey Gaming Enforcement. I've got male, female suspects, north slots, aisle 1. Male, late 40s, silver suit, glasses pushed up. Female, late 30s, black jacket, dark-colored hair.
Flaumer suddenly gets a better view of Colavecchio than he'd ever bargained for.
Cash in out, please.
Sure.
Now they're walking up to the cage. They're pretty much standing right by me.
So what do you want to do for dinner tonight?
How do you feel about steak?
I was thinking more along the lines of the fish species.
Oh, no, not after last night's crab sticks.
And I'm trying to explain to them where they're at.
Cashier 5 north.
Flaumer wants security to track his suspect through the casino, then put a tail on him.
North. Cashier 5 north.
But the cameras can't locate Colavecchio.
I'm pulling the phone away and tell him he's standing right next to me.
$1,520.
Thanks, hon. I keep looking at me.
Surveillance still can't hone in on the suspects.
He keeps looking at me.
No, of course you can't see them because they're gone.
Everything's going through thought through your head. You know, we can't lose sight of these people. The operation may be in jeopardy. Now we have a car, and we have a identity on the mail. The car came back to Louis Colavecchio of Providence, Rhode Island.
Colavecchio's perfect plan is falling apart. He's no longer an anonymous face in the crowd. From the address, Flaumer pinpoints the manufacturing plant in Providence. He contacts Rhode Island police to set up a multi-state operation.
We're trying to set up constant surveillance on Colavecchio.
Flaumer's packing his bags for Providence when he gets the bad news.
The production of these coins in Rhode Island is not a crime. We had an issue because the casino tokens is not considered a currency in their state.
Flaumer's hands are tied. He's got a crime, a crook, and the evidence to convict him. But there's nothing he can do, because Rhode Island law does not recognize token counterfeiting as a crime. Flaumer must wait patiently in Atlantic City, in the hope that Colavecchio will return and cash out once again. And Louis has no idea how close he was to getting caught. He and Julie just continue non-stop, hitting casinos everywhere except Atlantic City, completely oblivious to the investigation surrounding them. It's Christmas time, 1996, when Colavecchio decides to hit Atlantic City once again.
See it? I had a second sense about that trip, and I almost called it off.
Colavecchio has all the tokens he needs to make an easy $50,000 over the holiday.
The first stop was Bally's. The minute I left Bally's, I knew I was tailed. 95% sure. Second stop was Caesars. In Caesars, they allowed us to play as if nothing had happened.
Cashing out, please.
Surely.
Mr. Colavecchio, would you please step away from the counter?
Hey, leave him alone. He didn't do anything wrong. What the hell are you guys trying to pull?
Jules, honey.
What?
It's over, baby.
What do you mean?
They know my name. It's finished.
We find the car in the parking garage. We hit it with a search warrant. We find in the trunk he had over $50,000 worth of counterfeit tokens from every casino in Atlantic City.
Because transporting counterfeit tokens over state lines is a crime, Flauman now gets the interstate investigation he wants. Police search Colavecchio's workshop. They seize 123 dies and Colavecchio's detailed records, which lead them to Al and his workshop.
He had thousands of pounds of metal, and they were already cut into strips and softened. They were ready to go.
Al, Julie, and Colavecchio are charged with trademark violations and interstate traffic of counterfeit goods. To avoid a prison sentence, Al testifies for the prosecution. His testimony sends Colavecchio to jail.
This was probably the biggest counterfeiting operations for casino tokens, probably in the history of gaming.
The casinos immediately upgrade the screening devices in the slot machines, which now account for 67% of all casino gambling revenue. They also tighten their control of tokens in circulation.
Inventory controls are done on a regular basis now to make sure that there's no additional tokens that they cannot account for.
Sometimes you can be too clever for your own good.
The best organized plans, no matter how good they seem, are never as good as you think they are.
Colavecchio's downfall was introducing too many tokens to the casino.
If he spaced it out and didn't become very greedy, this could have gone on for years. He could have been a millionaire without a problem.
Colavecchio pushed our investigative ability to the limit. We'd probably never have another case like this.
When I was going into the police station on a couple of occasions, they had a big picture of me in one of the rooms, and underneath it was written, "The King." And they told me so many times, "You're definitely the king of Atlantic City."